Hey, everybody. My name is Jen, and I am your host down here between the cracks. And I would like to thank you for joining me. So, at the moment, nobody has joined me just yet. I don't need that. I can talk to myself all day. Anyways, I'm rocking my new haircut. I cut 5 inches of hair off of that mop I had going on, and I feel amazing. I hope that the sound is coming through okay. I have a few new fun little tidbits. Hang on a second. Let me show you my little tornado machine. I have a tornado machine. My friend Heather bought me a little Chandler Bing duck. I love that. Everybody knows about that. Oh, wait for it though. Hang on. This guy. I have a certain friend that if I tell her, ooh, I really wish I had one of those in like an at-home size. Well, she'll find a way to do that. And I love these little guys. I don't know how anybody else feels, but I love this. Oh, that's right. Yeah, I have my own blow up guy. Oh, wait, I have a comment. Hang on. Sorry about that noise. Hang on. Open it up. Hi, Donna. Hi, Alexis, if you're still here. I'm happy to see that I've got some peeps showing up. Give me a second. I kind of redid some things last minute. You know, you're supposed to get ready for the show and get everything ready that you're gonna discuss and all the things you're gonna show. Well, what did I do? Well, I did the ADD girl thing, and I picked a couple of things that a neighbor had thrown out, cleaned them up, brought them up here, reorganized, vacuumed the whole place, did a bunch of stuff that I probably should not have been doing because I wanted to get into our week in review. And this week is the second week of my Sunday week in reviews of the troubled teen industry. I'm going to try to not hate my hair. Let's just do this. I apologize. I'm sure there's other people out there that are like me and just can't be feeling confident all the darn time. And I don't. I try. I feel a lot more confident more often than I don't anymore. But this being on a camera, I'll tell you what, that's not easy. Being on a camera is not easy. But I'm getting used to it. So we're going to continue on speaking about Devin Glissmeyer and Second Nature a little bit later. What I want to do now is focus on family health and wellness. And I'm not kidding you when I say this. You know what? Let's just put it up on the screen because you know what? There's no other way to explain what these people call themselves. Go here. Okay. So our founding dad, who they call their founding daddy, and actually, let me go back to the original. Oh, hang on a second. Let me go back. Where did it go? I want to show this because this is spectacular from our Trouble Teen Reddit. That's founding daddy Tim Dupell. This guy's he's a real piece of work. Let's read a little bit about him from our Reddit. Has anyone seen this disturbing page on Family Health and Wellness website? A message from founding dad. It appears FHW has fully removed Tim Dupell, aka founding dad, from their website. I imagine that after several arrests, a well-documented substance issue, felony arrests of cocaine possession, and several embarrassing stints in rehab, they had to. This clown's own daughter doesn't even speak to him. If I was his daughter, I wouldn't speak to him either. I wouldn't have spoken to him when he ran a troubled teen industry program. Actually, several underneath the umbrella, and I will show you. And Family Health and Wellness is also associated with Trails Carolina, which has now been closed down. Hopefully that's permanent. Okay, this is the cheesiest piece of marketing. What parent is looking at this and feeling anything other than a corporation trying to bleed their bank accounts dry? This man and his program are absolute garbage, and I don't know how he looks himself in the mirror. And that's all I want to share from that, because I don't want to share any username. And because that's not, I've told my fellow survivors that I wouldn't share their names or their screen names or anything like that unless they chose. So, okay. This is from the Family Health and Wellness homepage. God bless him. Okay, founding dad, an advocate for positive and transformative change. Our founding dad. So this is from Tim, just so you know. I understand the frustration, stress, and pain of having teenagers who are angry, defiant, and depressed. We all want the best for our kids. So when our home lives are falling into crisis, with children failing school and acting out in dangerous ways, it's nothing less than heartbreaking. Sometimes our kids stop coming home at night or run away, and we worry if they are safe. All true things. None of these are untrue things. However, you likely fear your child won't get through high school or college, might hurt themselves or others, and never lead a productive or functional life. And if you want to be sure of that, I'm just putting this in there. If you want to make sure that your kids don't end up living, a full and successful life, send them to a troubled teen industry program or 3. Okay, sorry. Let's start that over. You likely fear your child won't get through high school or college, might hurt themselves or others, and never lead a productive and functional life. When your teen is acting out in ways that could damage their health, lead to legal repercussions, or worse, the emotional devastation felt as a parent is unbearable. None of this makes any sense to a responsible, hardworking parent who loves their child. We all fear our teenagers are throwing away their future. I get that. I accept that. It can seem that despite your best efforts to intervene, your child is caught in a downward spiral, throwing their future away. You try offering incentives for better decision making. And when that fails, we try consequences. And when that fails, we look outside of the home for help from therapists and tutors. Eventually, we realize these local resources can turn out to be inadequate when it comes to producing lasting change in a child facing significant issues. And that's where family health and wellness comes in. At Family Health and Wellness, we disrupt the downward spiral and address the underlying causes of your child's anger and frustration to produce real, lasting change. Bullshit. Okay. Your teenager will come and live at our programs, and during their stay, we will work to bring about feelings of self-worth. I thought that said bring about fear of self-worth. That's funny. Bring about feelings of self-worth, create a sense of gratitude and value for family, friends, and teachers, restore communication with friends and within the family, repair and rebuild relationships between you and your child, create opportunities for them to learn skills or reflection so they can understand the destructive nature of past decisions. Model healthy daily life routines in regards to waking, sleeping, and eating. Yes, they do wake you. They do feed you, and then they make you go to sleep or to bed if you can't sleep. Okay. Teach coping skills and new ways of working through frustrations and anxiety. Catch up or maintain academic progress. Bring about an understanding of boundaries and how they can make better choices. Change your teen's perspective and bring calm and thoughtfulness where previously there was frustration, anger, and crisis. Just reading that made me want to vomit. Okay. We have the experience and expertise to diagnose and treat issues which often contribute to or primarily drive dysfunctional or destructive behaviors. It's not uncommon to misinterpret mental health and learning challenges as being lazy or lacking in motivation. In fact, negative behaviors can often be caused by caused or contributed by trauma, depression, spectrum challenges, ADD, ADHD, and other mental health and learning issues, which none of these places are qualified to handle. I'm trying to stay cool. I got to get myself a little bell or something to ring. Yeah, I'll just do this. I'll just like put my hand in my mouth. Okay. Okay. Let's see. Our clinical and academic professionals are educated, trained, and experienced in bringing about meaningful and sustainable change for your child and your family. You are not alone in these challenges, and your child will discover peers who face and have successfully overcome these challenges. Now, I want to point out the fact that they said that their clinical and academic professionals are educated, trained, and experienced. Now, where is that? I want to see their accreditations, who they're accredited through, because it's all just it's part of the scam, folks. Okay, you can throw around educated, trained, experienced, specifically trained, specially trained. It's all garbage. None of it's real medical training, and it's important for people to know that. These intensive therapeutic programs make a real difference in the lives of teens. They do that. I have received countless letters of gratitude from parents and witnessed firsthand the restoration of loving connections between parents and teenagers who, upon arrival, carried anger, defiance, frustration, and low self-esteem. These very same adolescents and young adults exit our program with a newfound appreciation for all their parents have done for them, inability to cope and make better choices, and greater self-confidence in themselves and their future. The change our programs can produce in your teen are not only life-changing, they're life-saving. Bullshit. We can help you. Call us today at not this number to learn more about our programs and begin the journey to sustainable change in your child's life. Sincerely, our founding dad, who, by the way, they call their founding daddy, which is really disgusting and disturbing. So let's look at their programs real quick, shall we? So they have residential treatment programs. Let me put this down in case I have. Oh, hi, Anik. Hi, Janet. Hi, Mary. So great to see you. I appreciate y'all being here. We are taking a look at family health and wellness and their founding daddy, Tim Dupell, and he's a real, he's a treat. He's something, I don't know yet exactly, but you know what he is? I'll share it with you in case you missed it. He is a clown. Okay, I just wanted to change that. I just wanted to share that real quick. All right, so now we're going to go to their programs, and we're going to start with their residential treatment programs. Asheville Academy. Okay, Asheville Academy. Asheville Academy is for girls ages 10 to 14. Asheville Academy is a therapeutic boarding school serving girls ages 10 to 14 who struggle in their family system, schooling, or peer groups. This program specializes in relationship-based treatment, emphasizing high levels of family intervention, emotional safety, and healthy boundaries. Discover 7 Stars, all genders, 13 to 17. Discover 7 Stars is a residential treatment program for teens aged 13 to 17 who struggle with neurodevelopmental delays and disorders such as autism spectrum disorder and ADHD. 7 Stars model combines experimental therapy with residential treatment built upon the foundation of positive psychology, self-efficacy, and self-determination and cognitive therapy. So did anybody get the red flag on that one? That would be the experimental treatment. People are sending their children to this place so they can experiment on them as if they're guinea pigs or rats. Yes, they are involved in elevations. Yes, they do. They are part of Elevations, family help and wellness is all together. Elevations is an all gender residential treatment program providing youth ages 13 to 18 with personalized interdisciplinary care. Elevation offers psychiatric care, specialized in and intensive clinical groups, or as we call it, the circle, attack therapy, screen therapy, the game, whatever you want to call it, whatever you've heard it be called. Elevations, yes, accredited academics and experimental therapy to students with trauma, depression, anxiety, mood disorders, suicidality, and self-harm. Double red flags on this one, right? Because we've got accredited academics, which on most of these, and I have to say that I need to confirm this about elevations, but I do know most of these accredited academics aren't, and you don't graduate and you have to go back. And then again, with the experimental treatments, do you want people experimenting on your kids while they are away thousands or hundreds of miles away from you and they can't really communicate with you unless somebody's overseeing it? I don't have children, so I can't answer that question. New Focus Academy. Now, New Focus Academy is all genders. It is a specialized school and residential treatment program for students aged 12 to 18 with autism spectrum and similar neurodevelopmental difficulties that include cognitive, organizational, and or emotional challenges. At NFA, research-based and pragmatic solutions are utilized to develop independence and self-esteem in their students. An overall relationship and brain-based approach is woven into individual, family, group, and recreational therapy. Academically, individualized education plans, vocational learning, and project-based opportunities are targeted with each student. Basically, this just reminds me of one of those places that you throw your kid away to back in the 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s. I'm not talking about now. Anybody who's done any research on the history of psychiatric therapy, a psychiatric world in the United States, like the psychiatric makeup of the United States. You know, they use the rogue kids. I can give you an example. Kathleen Kennedy. Kathleen Kennedy was different. She may possibly have been on the spectrum. That wasn't a thing back when they sent her away, but she was a little wild, and she was, you know, not a perfect Kennedy. So they sent her to a psychiatric hospital for her entire life, and she died in her 80s. And she was okay. She would have been okay. Sorry, she would have been okay if they wouldn't have done that lobotomy on her. True story. Roots Transition. Roots Transition is a residential treatment program serving young women 15 to 18 years old who have attachment, rational, and or developmental trauma. The program integrates outdoor adventure, intensive family support, and deep clinical work through the use of the neuroaffective relational model, NARM, to help individuals overcome trauma and maladaptive behaviors. I'm going to read this last one. Sandhill Child Development Center, ages, all genders, age 8 to 13. Want to sit on the youngness of those who go there are for a second. They deserve that. Sandhill Child Development Center treats children ages 8 to 13. The common denominator amongst admitted diagnoses is significant emotional dysregulation impacting the ability to function at home, in school, or their communities. This program's holistic approach integrates a relationally based clinical approach that grounds the neurosequential model of therapeutics, NMT, into every aspect of daily living. Okay, so we have Magnolia Middle School, the girls' school. I'm not going to read all of these because what I can tell you, Solstice West, I don't even know how to say this, Uinta Academy, they also have They also have Blue Fire is the only outdoor therapy program they have left because Trails Carolina was in fact shut down. And I want to talk about, right, well, yes, the reason that she was stuck the reason Kathleen Kennedy was stuck in a psychiatric hospital for her entire life was because of the botched lobotomy. I shouldn't even say botched. They experimented on this young woman. She really kind of, to me, is one of the pioneering troubled teen industry program survivors. It's just unfortunate that her father allowed her to receive a lobotomy, and she was then spent the rest of her. Wait, it's Anik's birthday, and hey, you. Wait, can't stay. Well, at least you showed up. That's okay. And I'm sorry, did I hear that we have a birthday? Anik? I'll wait. I have plenty of other things to talk about. Because if we do, I have to do a thing. And I know that this is that we're in the middle of something very serious, but I love my friends. And so we're just gonna hang on a second. Her father did push for it. Joe Kennedy. Yeah, Joe Kennedy was mm-hmm. Okay, so this one is for Anik. I can't play the whole song, by the way, or else I'm gonna get nailed for copyright infringement. Oh, whatever. I don't care. It was yesterday. I wasn't on yesterday. So happy birthday, babe. Let's just do this. We're just going to cut it up. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday. Okay, that's all you get. Because I'm not gonna get in trouble. And there are people looking to get me in any kind of trouble. So on them. Happy birthday, Anik. I love you. You're a wonderful friend. So we covered family health and wellness, and I'm really happy that we did. And there's also, let me find something really quick in the comments. I don't want to show you all this. Not that you can't join the Discord. I'm sorry, not the Discord. That's an old life. The Reddit, our Reddit here. I'm trying to find. You're welcome. So let me go into Facebook. I had a video pulled up. So if you'll just give me one moment. I'm trying to find a video that I found to be pretty disturbing, and I want to share it with people. Okay. Hang on a second. It's a, oh, for crying out loud. Man, let me go resources about show me if they have. Does anybody have any questions that they want to ask? I can show you the Reddit page. It's a really great place for it's a really great place for pay attention to any of those other ones because They're gross, and I don't know why they keep popping up. So this is Troubled Teens. So you can join here. And this is an anti-troubled teen industry activism and survivor support group. This is not. Oh, cool. Hang on a second. So you're telling me Sea-Doo. Let's just take a moment to celebrate the fact that Sea-Doo may be burned down in a fire any day. I'm pretty excited about that myself. Sea-Doo being Chuck E. Diedrich University, which was Synanon's first actual troubled teen industry program. So, oh, boo. I mean, of course, I feel bad for people living in the area. But it would be really, it'd be almost fun. And I wish that, I wish Evan Wright was here for a lot of reasons. Evan Wright, for people that may not know, Evan Wright, the survivor. He was also executive producer and featured highly on the docuseries on Max, Teen Torture Inc. He actually was a survivor of the Seed. The Seed was the first offshoot of Synanon. We've gone into the history and all that. But I don't know. I just kind of want to take a moment for Evan, because I'm still not over it. And over my shoulder here, I've got my buddy Steve, who we lost in March, and Jamie, who we lost on July 5th. What is it, Mary? Sorry. We're having my daughter on my channel tomorrow talking about behavioral therapy in the home. It was a huge help to our family. It helped me understand her and her autism. Fantastic. What time is that tomorrow, Mary? Because I'll be sure to check that out. I think that's really interesting. I want to see instances of alternatives to sending your children away to Troubled Teen Industry program. Okay, so next we're going to go to sorry, I'm just taking a minute to realize the people that aren't here anymore. Okay, so next we have a video, a KSL TV news report that I want us to watch. It may have a commercial, so it's all right. I mean, it's okay. Friends come into our lives for a reason, and sometimes it's not forever, right? I don't love them any less. I hope that you all hear that. Also, by the way, not a rat. Okay, so check this out. 8 p.m. Eastern tomorrow. Mary, I'm there.
More than 100 youth residential treatment facilities operate in Utah, housing thousands of teens from all over the country every year. One of them is the focus of a new NBC News.
Can you all hear that before I continue? Can you hear that okay? No, 5 of you. I don't care how many people watch this. It doesn't matter. It's never mattered. It never will. But I just want to make sure that you all can hear this before I continue. Here, I'll try it again.
News investigation.
KSL investigator Courtney Johns looking into that facility and how it's connected to calls for more federal regulation.
The facility we're looking at is called Elevations RTC. It's a teen treatment center in Syracuse, and it's currently being sued. Elevations is part of Family Help and Wellness, which operates 5 other residential treatment facilities in Utah and others across the country. Now, this one in North Carolina recently shut down after a child died. And now an NBC News investigation has found state records indicating multiple locations have violated state records for employees failing to notify their respective states of critical incidents, including injuries and alleged abuse.
I felt like I started to lose myself as a human being.
It's been.
Hey, I just want to say something really quick here about Finn. Finn is, I haven't had a chance to meet him yet. I'm hoping to meet him when we go for fall session to Washington. He was there this summer. Unfortunately, I didn't get to meet him. This kid, this 18-year-old, probably getting ready to turn 19 years old, is one of the strongest kids. And like the Stoneman Douglas high school kids are so unbelievably strong. They're not kids anymore. But, you know, Finn is so strong. And he's so strong because of what he went through. And because his family believed him. And he sued them. And he's about to talk about this. And I just wanted to remind anybody who's been on this journey with me that this is Finn. This is who I'm talking about. This kid right here is one of my heroes. I love Finn. He is, dang it, he's just a spectacular human being. And maybe, who knows, maybe one day Finn will agree to come on the channel and talk about his experiences. But for now, let me let him talk for himself.
Of critical incidents, including injuries and alleged abuse.
I felt like I started to lose myself as a human being.
It's been 3 years since Finn Poole's father placed him at Elevations RTC in Syracuse, Utah.
I mean, I was trapped.
3 months in, Poole says he found the courage to tell his therapist at Elevations a family member sexually abused him.
He said that I'm going to do my own investigation because, quite honestly, I don't believe you.
Utah law requires therapists report suspected abuse immediately. In Poole's case, the first report was filed with the Utah Department of Health and Human Services 24 days later, according to police reports. Elevations would not return our calls or emails. This statement on its website says the therapist briefly delayed reporting and that no charges were ever filed against the accused family member. Poole's therapist did plead guilty for failure to report child abuse, which is a misdemeanor.
It doesn't feel adequate enough.
Now suing Elevations, Poole's claims include negligence, false imprisonment, and child abuse.
I'm sorry. I need to hear that again, because failure to report abuse is a misdemeanor. Utah sucks. I have on my community tab on my channel something very important that I am begging everyone who sees this video to fill out and send to your House of Representative members and senators from your state, all of them. Do it to all of them from all the states. I don't care, but even your states. If you're in the states, send this template letter, fill it out, and send it to your representatives and your senators, because we need to get the Stop Institutional Child Abuse Act passed. We've already got the sponsors. We already had the hearing. Now we have to go lobby and push for a vote, a congressional vote. That's all we're waiting on, is a congressional vote and the signature of the President of the United States. And since I don't know who that's going to be in January, damn it, I want it done before the election. If we can't get it done before the election, I want it done by the end of the year. I want Congress, the President of the United States, every state, county, and local representative in every state in these United States of America to finally protect children from abuses, not willingly or unwillingly send their children to torture chambers. And I'm sorry to use a Holocaust term, but, you know, this is torture. Yes, thank you, Canada. Janet, in Canada, send it to your MPs, your members of parliament. Send something to Justin Trudeau. because there are still there's still religious troubled teen industry programs in Canada. There are Indigenous troubled teen programs in Canada, and there just are troubled teen programs in Canada. And it's important to me that we stand up and let our voices be heard. Yeah, I have a big mouth. I do. I get shaky when I do my streams and I'm on camera. It's my anxiety. I get nervous. It's my insecurity. I'm not sure if I look okay, because that matters somehow. But this is the message. This is what's important. So please, everybody who watches this video, go to my community tab, click on the link, and it shares the template letter for you to fill out and send to your senators, House of Representative members, and in Canada, your members of parliament. Also, Australia. This works for Australia as well. UK works for the UK. We can end this in our lifetime. And I'm going to do it, or I'm going to die trying. Oh my gosh. Hi, Shell. I miss you so much. It's so good to see you. Thank you for joining us. We're going to get back into Finn's testimony and his lawsuit against Elevations RTC. By the way, when you saw it, and Shell, I apologize. You can always go back and see this. Finn's father sent him to Elevations RTC against his mother's will. I relate very much to Finn. Okay, back to it.
which is a misdemeanor.
Doesn't feel adequate enough.
Now suing Elevations, Poole's claims include negligence, false imprisonment, and child abuse. During his 10-month stay, which began in August of 2021, he says he lost a significant amount of weight. He also says he was put in seclusion for 9 days. Utah law states seclusion can only be used for the immediate safety of the child or others. Records from the Utah Department of Health and Human Services show Elevations was issued a written violation for improper use of the practice on June 3rd, 2021, just 2 months before Poole was brought to Elevations. Senator Mike McKell authored the law regarding seclusion and restraint policies.
And this is an industry that grew up outside a regulatory framework.
No one was paying attention.
Nobody was paying attention. I wasn't paying attention.
SB 127, which went into effect on May 5th, 2021, requires the Utah Department of Health and Human Services to inspect each residential facility quarterly. It bans the use of medication to restrain a child without prior state authorization, and facilities have 1 business day to report to the state any use of restraint, seclusion, or an incident that involved an injury. According to DHHS documents obtained by NBC News, Elevations reported restraining children at least 130 times from May of 2023 to May of 2024.
In 1 year. That's how many restraints in 1 year. And Utah is not following up. They're not regulating. These places are grandfathered in, I'm sure.
Elevations did not return our requests for comment about their restraint and seclusion practices. Neither did Family Help and Wellness.
Now, in addition to the organization's operations in Utah, Idaho, and New Mexico, it also had a wilderness camp in North Carolina that was shut down earlier this year after the death of a 12-year-old boy.
Do you all remember one of the very first videos I did about the young man, the 12-year-old boy, whose name I know, whose name is out there, but out of respect for his family, I won't say on air. 12 years old, his first night that he was there, he suffocated and died in a bivvy. And a bivvy is it's really just a sleeping bag with a bit of a tent over it. And of course, they were closed down because they were found negligent. Now, are they having criminal charges brought up against them at Trails Carolina? No, not yet. Not yet. That's the important thing for you to hear out of that statement. Not yet.
The autopsy report concluded his death a homicide, and that case is still under investigation. And no one has been charged in his death, with Trails Carolina denying any wrongdoing.
Child welfare experts and advocates say serious incidents at associated facilities show the need for closer scrutiny across state lines, a concern Mikkel has brought up in the past.
Look at facilities that have had violations in other states that may have ownership in the state of Utah. Just have an ability to monitor and track where our kids are coming from.
But even if Utah knew about owners with issues in other states, DHHS told us, quote, "We do not have the statutory authority to use facility violations or adverse incidents in other states when making Utah-specific licensing decisions. But licensed individuals do have to pass a background check." Congress is working to address this issue with the Stop Institutional Child Abuse Act, which would provide federal oversight to youth residential programs and create the first national database and log the use of restraint and seclusion. But the Disability Law Center says Utah can't wait for Congress.
We've just seen these problems for a long time.
Nate Krippus says the nonprofit joined with the National Health Law Program in July to submit a federal complaint claiming DHHS has failed to provide adequate oversight of residential facilities, including teen treatment centers.
They're here now, and they don't seem to be going away. So I think the question is, if they're going to remain, what do we need to do to make sure that the kids there are safe?
In response to the complaint, DHHS wrote they are working to continuously improve the quality of their services, citing the recent merger of the Department of Human Services and the Department of Health as a way to create more efficient systems.
It's important when it matters to these families and these individuals.
While some advocates look to regulation, Poole hopes his lawsuit sends a strong message to all those in power at troubled teen facilities.
We're not going to let you do this to us anymore.
As a part of Poole's ongoing lawsuit, last month a state licensing panel ruled that Elevations appeared more interested in keeping Poole in their facility for monetary reasons rather than his best interests as a minor. NBC News spoke with former staff members and other students who attended that facility, and we will link their story with this one on KSLTV.com.
So that's that one. I don't mean to get emotional like I do, but I can't help it. I can't. No, I'm not going to read that again. There is another. Oh, I want to go over this. This is to do with Unsilenced and Meg Applegate, who is the CEO of Unsilenced. We now have an amazing Unsilenced Impact app, and I want to share that with everybody. I'm so proud to know these people and proud to be any sort of part of this, however large or small. Leading troubled teen industry survivor organization releasing Unsilenced Impact app. Powerful digital resource for healing, education, reform, and involvement. It's important to know, like unsilenced.org, I have a link to it on my channel, and it is a treasure trove of information. We already have a database of programs, and the work that everybody has done it's unbelievable. It's amazing. It's Ivor who's still trying to figure out how to live an actual life, how to do all the things that an adult person is supposed to do and feel the way that an adult person is supposed to do and succeed and follow through like a responsible adult person is supposed to do. And Meg is one of the people that I do admire and look up to in this. She's younger than me. Her and Paris Hilton are my two go-tos for survivors who are making change. And Finn now, because if my little channel does anything, and I've already been proven 6 times from 6 different people that it is working, that I'm doing something right. Yeah, I'm getting more involved, but that has to come with being responsible and reliable and able to follow through on things. And This is why I'm holding myself to a guaranteed Sunday recap of Troubled Teen Industry News. I am hoping to do Tuesday and Thursday premieres, so they'll be recorded with live chat, and people can interact with that and learn from that. But I just wanted to share that we do have this resource available, and that it's being covered. And Meg's also been speaking on podcasts. I don't have those queued up right now, but okay, so I'm just going to read this little bitty right here. The Unsilenced Impact app is a powerful digital resource for healing, education, reform, and involvement for both allies and those who have suffered at the hands of this industry. Now, you can go, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to copy and paste this into the chat. Sorry, that was the wrong thing. No, darn it. Can't see what I'm doing. I am going to put this in here. Hello, new people that are not talking. Oh, wait, I thought that, does that show up as a link? Because I thought that as the owner of this channel, I could, there's the one. Okay. Now we have another article from another place. Guess what? Okay, thanks, Shell. I appreciate it. So this place, also in Utah. Now, they have a law on the books. They talked about it in that news piece, but they're clearly not following through. So my belief is that we also continue to, now that they've merged the Department of Health and Human Services, which is kind of funny because most states already did that a long time ago. I thought in Michigan it's Health and Human Services. I don't know what it is in other states. I know Florida, Tennessee, I think of everywhere I live. Anyways, whatever. You know, they need to follow up on this, and they need to have their hands held to the fire on this, because these are children's lives. And this next article proves it. And I'm going to go ahead and just do this because I'm giving everybody a minute. This article discusses unaliving oneself. And I'll change the words, but I'm showing the article. I'm not monetized, so I don't care. Okay, so now we are going to a Salt Lake Tribune article. After a youth's unaliving, this Utah Teen Treatment Center is being monitored and could be shut down. Here's to hoping. Could be shut down. Should already be shut down. The teenager passed after harming themselves at the Heritage School's Homestead campus in June. A young person unalived themselves earlier this summer at a Utah Teen Treatment Center, and now state licensors are increasing their scrutiny of Heritage School's Homestead campus and could shut it down. Now, can I just say that they say the state licensors are going to look into Heritage School's Homestead campus. So you're telling me that you're going to look into one program's single campus. The rest of them, screw the rest of them. They don't care. No, you need to hold them all accountable. Stop letting them torture, torment, trap, and abuse children, and then send them out in the world and go, okay, you're on your own. Good luck with that. Because a lot of them, even if they make it out of there, and this is just proven, the day after Teen Torture Inc. came out, Evan Wright unalived himself. He's lived with this for over 40 years, and he couldn't take it anymore. It happens every day. We don't have the numbers or the statistics to prove how many survivors we lose every year. but it's significant and it's important. And that's one of the reasons that I scream as loudly as I can, because I promise you, every survivor has thought of walking away or whatever, however you want to put it, just leaving life, because it's just so hard, because nobody understands what you're talking about except other survivors. But now we're getting lucky. We've had one documentary on Netflix, Hell Camp, about the wilderness camps. We had the program from Catherine Kubler, which was an amazing 3-part series on Netflix that helped me show my sister, who was a year old when I was sent away, why I have been the way I've been for the entirety of her memory. She asked me questions. It was beautiful. And then Teen Torture Inc. on Max went even further, and it really, really went deep and spoke to several survivors. And I thought that was an incredibly well done docuseries. I don't know the date of the Bethel Boys program documentary. They are not allowed to say when it will be released. I do know that the Bethel Boys and the Bethel Boys Academy were covered in Teen Torture Inc., but they do have their own documentary coming up, according to one of the survivors that I am friends with through social media. But I'm very excited about that. But I wanted to stop right there, because one place, I mean, please, they have a laundry list in Utah alone of kids who have either unalived themselves or been unalived, which has also happened in Michigan. I've already covered that. I will go deeper. I will go deeper with that case another time. Let's go back to this so that we can get through it. State licensors determined the Payson program did not ensure that a young person was free from potential harm on June 21st, and the youth injured themselves in a horse pasture. Heritage School staff reported the licensors that on that date, the youth had requested to use their checkout privilege, a 20-minute period of time where they were allowed to leave the group. But after they did not return, according to the report, a staff member went to look for them and found them injured in a horse shelter on the campus's pasture. Details about the young person's injuries were redacted from records released to the Salt Lake Tribune. The youth died the following day. Nobody is saying how long they waited, right? So they get 20 minutes of away time, right? So they can go off to a different area and be alone for 20 minutes. Well, how long was this kid alone before somebody bothered to go look for them, right? It's a big question. And then they died the following day. No identifying details have been released about the young person, and it will stay that way, at least on my channel. Utah County Sheriff Sergeant Spencer Cannon told the Tribune that evidence indicates that the youth died by unaliving, but law enforcement officials are waiting for the medical examiner's report before closing the case. He said they don't believe any crimes were committed. Only all of the crimes that led up to this moment. But, we're not going to look into that. When reached by email, Heritage School CEO Kevin Downs wrote, "Out of respect for this dear family, we have no comment." So they have respect for this child's family, but not this child. And fuck you, Kevin Downs. Fuck you. I'm going to look into you next. I don't know what I can do. Something, anything. Fuck you, Kevin Downs. I apologize to all of my non-cursing friends. You know that I work really hard at not cursing, especially on my channel. Sometimes my emotions get the best of me. I'm not sorry for that, but I'm sorry if I upset anybody with the cursing. The Department of Health and Human Services have required that Heritage Schools Homestead program pay more than $10,000 in fines and cover the cost for increased visits from regulators while its license is considered in conditional status until September. Okay, it's September now, so I'm going to have to do a follow-up. $10,000 is around, I believe it was a $12,000 or $15,000 fine for the 12-year-old boy who we lost at Trails, Carolina. If $10,000 is the amount that a teenager's life is worth, then people in this country and this world need to really rethink a lot of things. That's just disgusting to me. The program was also required to retrain staff about properly supervising the young people in its care. Really, they had to be retrained to properly supervise them? Because they're not trained. They get what, 3 days training? Oh yeah, that's great. Okay, I will be calmer the more I do these programs, but I'm not right now because it's still very visceral to me. I'm 18 months into knowing my experiences, and I'm learning all of these other experiences, and it's emotional. So sorry that I'm not sorry. Okay, the program will also require, oh wait, I read that. An inspection form from earlier this month indicated that there are 5 teens currently in the program, which advertises that it specializes in helping neurodiverse high school age girls. That's so troubling. So troubling. It's possible that state officials could revoke the program's license and shut it down if staff don't follow through with these mandates or if issues continue to arise. In recent years, officials have denied licenses to 2 programs after a client's death. Licensors found in both cases that the girls did not receive needed medical treatments. And this is all, actually, these 2 girls are in the last 4 years in programs in Utah. Heritage School operates 4 campuses in Utah County, according to licensing records. Each campus holds its own license, so the sanctions and restrictions for the Homestead campus don't extend to the other 3 programs. Isn't that special? Isn't that just lovely? So they get to get off and continue to work, right? Continue to run their programs. No problem. Yeah, well, you guys can keep running your programs. You didn't do anything wrong. Yes, they did. Yes, they do. They do something wrong every day because every campus of Homestead, I mean Heritage Schools, not just Homestead, every campus of Heritage Schools follows the Heritage standard, which is the TTI standard. The false accreditations that they make up on their own. It's like this never-ending pit of disgust, despair, and heartbreak, and shock, and just true raw emotions. And I just, okay, I know that we're at an hour, but I have one more article that I would like to share today, and this is a New York Times article, which is good. This is good. New York Times is a well-known name. We like that. Thank you, Donna. Wait. Oops. Hi, Shaw. I don't know how I accidentally did that. Hey, Crystal. Seems like some of these facilities treat the children as disposable, just like they used to be in the 17 and 1800s. Yeah, that's why I've just decided to call a lot of people who espouse pro-life to really just be pro-birth, because there's not enough people in this country that care to even know about this, and they should, especially people with children, but not just people with children, because I am a childless cat lady. Sorry, I just can't help that. I am, I'm a childless cat lady, but damn it, I have a right to say what is and isn't right for children because of my lived experiences. So, and I also have the right to vote. So, I I just wanted to do my little childless cat ladies say, hey, what's up? What's up? Shell is also a childless cat lady. We love our cats. They are our babies. We still deserve a full vote. Anyone who says otherwise shouldn't be taken seriously, in my opinion. Don't tell me that I don't have less of a right to vote because I didn't have children. You don't know why I didn't have children. And it's none of your business. But I didn't. But I still have the right to vote, and you ain't taking it away. And it's not gonna mean less than somebody that has kids. Okay, that was political, and I'm not sorry for that either, because I didn't go full political. We're gonna do one more article, then I'm going to wrap it up, let you know what I'm going to be looking into this coming week. And hang on a second. Me too, Crystal. Me too. And I almost died with them. And I was 17. I'm sorry, but I see you and I love you. It's okay. We're okay. I'm expecting to share that today, but okay. How a leading chain of psychiatric hospitals traps patients. Acadia Healthcare is holding people against their will to maximize insurance payouts. A Times investigation found. Acadia Health is one of America's largest chains of psychiatric hospitals. Since the pandemic exacerbated a national mental health crisis, the company's revenue has soared. Its stock prices have more than doubled. Let that sit in for a second. A hospital, a healthcare agency's stock prices have more than doubled. Healthcare agencies are publicly traded businesses in the United States, just like prisons. So they make so much money off of us. It's this, I mean, they make so much money off of us between these psychiatric hospitals, and Acadia runs more than just hospitals. They are a healthcare system, the same as the prison, the private prison systems. And then then you have the private food service companies. Everything's been privatized. I am also hoping that we can get the anti-monopoly law reenacted in the United States so we don't have these companies running everything and getting all the money. I want to remind you all, $23 billion a year on kids. That's how much parents and their insurance are being charged. $23 billion a year. Okay. The New York Times investigation found that some of that success was built on a disturbing practice. Acadia has lured patients into its facilities and held them against their will, even when detaining them was not medically necessary. This sounds really familiar. It sounds a lot like how they used to just throw their kids, like we talked about earlier, Kathleen Kennedy. Ooh, she doesn't fit the mold, so we're just going to throw her away into one of these hospitals. Luckily, psychiatric hospitals aren't as prevalent now as they were 30, 40 years ago. They did start in the 90s to cut them down to where I believe by the 2000s there was maybe one state hospital. But don't quote me because I'm not a professional at statistics and logistics. So I just know that there aren't as many psychiatric hospitals, but unfortunately there are still enough. Right? In at least 12 of the 19 states where Acadia operates psychiatric hospitals, dozens of patients, employees, and police officers have alerted authorities to the company that the company was detaining people in ways that violated the law, according to records reviewed by the Times. In some cases, judges have intervened to force Acadia to release patients. Some patients arrived at emergency rooms seeking routine mental health care, only to find themselves sent to Acadia facilities and locked in. Gross. A social worker spent 6 days inside an Acadia hospital in Florida after she tried to get her bipolar medications adjusted. She just wanted to get her bipolar meds adjusted because she wasn't feeling right. So she spent 6 days. My guess is, I'm pretty sure that I know which hospital that is, but I can't be sure. It doesn't say exactly where in Florida, but I wouldn't be surprised if it was in Daytona Beach. A woman who works at a children's hospital was held for 7 days after she showed up at an Acadia facility in Indiana looking for therapy. And after police officers raided an Acadia hospital in Georgia, 16 patients told investigators that they had been kept there with no excuses or valid reasons, according to a police report. Acadia held all of them under laws meant for people who pose an imminent threat to themselves or others. An imminent threat to those or others. But none of the patients appear to have met that legal standard, according to records and interviews. All about that money, right? Money makes the world go round, as they say in cabaret. Acadia held all of them under laws meant. I already did that one. Most doctors agree that people in the throes of a psychological crisis must sometimes be detained against their will to stabilize them and prevent harm. These can be tough calls, balancing patients' safety with their civil rights. I don't disagree with that. On a base level of that, I do not disagree. But these people, none of these people said that they wanted to hurt themselves or others. Most doctors agree that people in the throes of a I'm sorry. I don't mean to repeat myself. But at Acadia, patients were often held for financial reasons rather than medical ones, according to more than 50 current and former executives and staff members. Over 50 executive and staff members. Acadia, which charges $2,200 a day for some patients, at times deploys an array of strategies to persuade insurers to cover long stays, employees said. Acadia has exaggerated patients' symptoms. It has tweaked medication doses, then claimed patients needed to stay longer because of the adjustment. And it is argued that patients are not well enough to leave because they did not finish a meal. Oh my gosh, that is such a huge trigger for me. I was unable to eat the food at my first program because it was disgusting. I guarantee you that was the same problem here. They force you, and if you don't finish, they won't let you go. Insanity. Unless the patient or their families hire lawyers, Acadia often holds them until their insurance runs out. Long-standing practice of holding people until their insurance runs out. Excuse me. We were keeping people who didn't need to be there, said Lexi Reed, a psychiatric nurse who worked at an Acadia facility in Florida from 2021 to 2022. Every day spent in a psychiatric hospital can be a trial. At Acadia facilities around the country, health inspectors have found that some patients did not receive therapy, were unsupervised, or were denied access to vital medications. Many inspection reports describe rapes, assaults, and filthy conditions. Tim Blair, an Acadia spokesman, would not comment on individual patients, citing privacy laws. He said the patient examples cited by the Times were not representative of many patients with positive experiences. Still, to be clear, any incident that falls short of our rigorous standards is unacceptable, and actions are taken to address it, Mr. Blair said. He added, quality care and medical necessity drives every patient-related decision at Acadia. Okay, Tim. Acadia is at the forefront of a shift in how Americans receive mental health care. Psychiatric hospitals were once run by the government or nonprofit groups. Both have been retreating from psychiatric care. Today, for-profit companies are playing a bigger role, lured by the Affordable Care Act's requirement that insurance cover mental health. That sounds like an excuse, and I'm going to research that because I want to know where that came from, because that's insane. If our government used the Affordable Care Act as an excuse, wow, that's a problem. I'll look into that. Acadia operates more than 50 psychiatric hospitals nationwide, and the bulk of its revenue comes from government insurance programs, Medicaid, Medicare. That's what they're talking about. Poor people. Poor people. I mean, it'd be better to have them locked away in hospitals and institutions than it would be for them to be free, right? I mean, isn't that what I see on social media every day? Homeless people. I'm sorry, homeless problem, homelessness, homeless issue. They're people. They may not be home, they may not have a home. They may not be sitting somewhere with a roof and they pay their bills, but they're people, they're humans, they're Americans. Get over it. Because a good chunk of this country is 1 to 2 paychecks away from being homeless themselves. So stop looking down your nose at people. I'm not saying give them your money, but if you have food or something to drink, give them something to drink. Say hello. Acknowledge them. Ask them how they're doing. Have a conversation. Is that too much to ask? Okay. More than 20 nonprofit health systems, including Henry Ford in Michigan and Geisinger in Pennsylvania, have teamed up with Acadia to open facilities. Oh my God. Okay, Henry Ford Health System is a large health system in the Detroit area. It just this year merged with Ascension Health. So I have to look into this whole Henry Ford in Michigan thing, plus Henry Ford Hospital is where my brother Steve passed away in March. So that was a little of a jolt. Okay. The success has attracted notice on Wall Street. That's great news. Because that's what we need is the rich. You know what? I want to see, is there a way, does anybody know if there's a way to track like who has stock and what? Because I'd really like to know. With its stock price rising, Acadia is valued at about $7 billion. Acadia alone is worth $7 billion. Its chief executive, Christopher H. Hunter, remember that name. Christopher H. Hunter was paid more than $7 million last year. Just him. Not even the CEO, but Christopher Hunter was paid more than $7 million last year. Since Mr. Hunter was appointed in 2022, Mr. Blair said the company has improved the quality of its care and the training of its employees, all to support enhanced patient safety. No, all to support liability. Safety against liability. Federal and state authorities have periodically cracked down on Acadia, as well as its main rival, Universal Health Systems, which is another of the umbrella companies that we have looked into and will look into more. In 2020, UHS agreed to pay $122 million to settle a Justice Department investigation into whether the company billed for unnecessary inpatient stays. Of course, UHS declined any wrongdoing, as they always do. This year, Acadia said it has tentatively agreed to settle a similar Justice Department investigation into, among other things, whether patients were if their patient stays were medically necessary. Acadia was founded in 2005 by Reeve B. Woud, a financier, and grew slowly at first. But in 2011, the company went public and embarked on a major expansion. The timing was ideal. Over the next several years, Acadia got a lift from Obamacare, which required insurers to cover mental health, which is not a bad thing. Anybody that thinks that having insurance cover mental health care is wrong, you need to look at yourself, check the mirror. Because healthcare, including mental health care, should be a right and not a privilege. Okay, so I'm going to stop this because the rest of it is all pretty political. But wow, if they could just use the same amount of money to help build sports programs or art programs for kids to help them learn a trade, it would change within a generation. I mean, absolutely. When I was a kid, 130 years ago, we had arts and music programs. We had sports that was not pay to play. We had vocational centers, that you could go to part-time or instead of going to school, or at least part-time instead of school. I didn't get to do any of that. Crystal also says that's what the place was like where I stayed. You had to finish what was on your plate regardless of how long it took you. Most patients had eating disorders. Yeah, eating disorders or accusations of eating disorders. This has been a pretty intense episode today. I feel really good about it though. I know that I got a little bit emotional, but I don't care because this is my pure immediate reaction to things and feelings that I have and triggers. It's part of what I want to show. Don't worry, the flamingo is still there. Just I have to finish figuring out how to decorate this area. But I would like to, as always, thank each and every one of you who showed up here. The few of you who did interact in chat, thank you. I see you. I appreciate you, and I love you. To everyone who watches on replay, I love you. Thank you so much for supporting me, for supporting the cause. And again, don't forget, on my community tab is a template letter for House of Representative members and senators regarding the SICA Act, which is Stop Institutional Child Abuse Act, that we are pushing. And all we need now is a congressional vote and a signature from the president. And we are not going to stop until we get it. Lastly, I want to wish you all a happy Sunday, a safe and beautiful week ahead. And as always, if you can, do your very best to do one kind thing for one person today. And if we all do it every day, we might change the world. Love each other and yourselves, mainly yourselves. Bye for now.